Yes, my name is Rita Grafe, and I'm a ceramics artist. About the material, I find that it suits me very well. I've been experimenting around for a long time with which material I like, and I've also made trips into other things, and yet I've always come back to the clay and have, so to speak, expanded on the thing. It has something very vulnerable, very fragile, because it can also break very quickly. And yet it can withstand processes that actually you think it's not possible. It's both in this material, and I think it's just that also fascinates me. This vulnerable, tender, and yet somehow also strong again. I did not attend an art school. I practically came from normal pottery, and then I left this vascular pottery, learned the basics there, and then chose the direction of this Japanese firing technique. That has always fascinated me, these primordial things. I then developed them further and have maybe really refined the technique for me over the last 10 years. And that is actually my learning process. So without teachers. It was really a self-taught way. Basically, I have two lines that I follow. I have a relatively realistic line, and as a counterpart, the abstract line. They are both equally dear to me, and it is also a nice change for me now when it's my turn with one of them and I notice that I can't get any further. Then I turn to the other thing, and then I usually have strength for new things. That way, I also come down well. I rather think others should judge my artistic development. I find that somewhat difficult. I think that I have developed. Surely there's a change. There are no real role models for me in that sense, because I basically have a technique that is rarely used in sculpture. It is used, but it is still very infrequently. This Japanese technique that I work with is mostly used in vascular ceramics, or perhaps also objects. But sculptures do exist, but they are ultimately quite different from mine, I'd say now. Well, works like that. There are certainly sculptures like that in other materials, but I haven't seen it like this in raku or raku firing. I've never focused so much on awards and prizes. I think that's the truth, I'll tell you now. Awards and prizes have never been my goal. Actually, working is what counts for me. If someone thinks that's great, then the better. But it's not the aim of my work to win a prize. There have also been collaborations with other artists. For example, I already had an exhibition with Katrine Karas. That was then photography and my sculptures. That was in the Mary 23 and House 23, where we both received recognition at that time, within the framework of this Youth Art Sponsorship Award that was. And I also had an exhibition together with Matthias Körner at Gut Geisendorf. And it was really very successful. So that was a good process too. And the rooms we assembled really did radiate something afterwards. That's what we got as feedback from the visitors. I had abstract sculptures there, mostly abstract things. And Matthias had such small prints, and I thought it was a very successful thing. So, my art. I really do it, first and foremost, exclusively for me. I don't want to point my finger at anything, or lecture, or draw attention to anything. I do it from within myself. In principle, this is always a matter of feelings, and that can also vary from day to day. The aim is not to point out anything, but I simply express myself. For me, there would be no life without art anymore, and I know I will do it until I can't do it anymore. It's not a profession, it's really a calling.